for Wealth Press. Another wild day in the markets, and you should subscribe to this channel right now because the team at Wealth Press is pushing out, I think, some of the most informative and useful content for traders and investors in a time of uncertainty. And with that said, you can imagine when the stock market's going down like it has been, and with crazy days like this, everyone's talking about what's going down, right? It's all about what's moving down. But you know, at the same time that some things are moving down, other things are going in exactly the opposite direction, and they're going up. And that is why it is so important for you to take a look at the link that we're going to put below this video for jump trades. It's not up right now as of the time we're going live here, but it will be up on this video sometime today. You've got to take a look at it because right now the currency markets are where some of the greatest opportunity is. And jump trades is this perfect melding of the volatility and the movement of the currency markets with the stability of financial products that you already trade inside your brokerage account. You have to check it out. Now, what is driving the markets right now is, of course, uncertainty and panic and worry about the response that governments and central banks will have to this virus that is spreading around the globe as a pandemic. What I'm interested in is where's the money going and how does that play out? The number one place that's been going so far are treasuries. Treasuries have beaten gold, stocks, everything. Treasuries seem to be the safe haven. And guess what you need in order to buy treasuries? You need dollars. And that's why the US dollar over the course of the last few days is just wildly higher. If you just look at the last few days, it's remarkably higher and it's moving like a steam train down the tracks. And that's likely to continue, folks. And like I said before, you want to stay up to date on those jump trades, those 16-hour jump trades that meld the movement of the currency markets with the stability and the familiarity of the stock market and the financial products that you're already so familiar with. They merge those into one. There's another really odd beneficiary of this crisis, at least in a financial sense, is the euro. It's the weirdest thing. So now we're looking at the FXE. We could also just look at the straight up euro. What is crazy about this, folks, and the training that I want to provide to you here today is that when everyone else is looking over here and they're panicking and whatever else, we want to concentrate on where the opportunities are, and we want to concentrate on where the stability is. And options right now, right? Options pricing is maniacal and whacked out, right? It's just totally out of control, and the volatility has overpriced options, and it's probably not a great time, in my opinion anyway, to buy a bunch of options. Calls or puts are just super expensive right now as the volatility has just burst through every known barrier that we could have foreseen. However, there are some really crazy things happening. So here we are with the euro. Now the euro is, of course, the single currency used by all those nations in Europe. And the strange thing has happened. So Europe is essentially bankrupt in many places, like Italy is bankrupt. Check out the EWI, the Italian ETF. Greece is bankrupt. There's not enough money on the planet to bail out all of the bank debt that was all the money that was lent to Italy, private and public. There's not enough money in the world to rescue them. It's not going to be a bailout. It's going to be a reset. When that finally happens, it's going to be a reset. And so you might be asking, why did the euro just scream higher? Why did jump trades do so well in euro trades, for example, over the course of the last couple of weeks? So there's this thing going on right now that most people don't know about. So if what we do here is we erase all of the drawings I have here on the screen, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about how this dynamic works. So follow along with me here. So there are central banks that lent money out to regular banks at low interest rates, zero. In other words, cheap money from central banks in Europe is the name of the game. All this quantitative easing where the central banks bought up all of this bad debt or worrisome debt. Italy didn't qualify, and so, or Greece didn't qualify, and Italy rejected a bunch of this. So that's why they're going to be doing so badly, as a side note. But what happened was the central bank bought up a ton of that debt. And what happened is, because of these low interest loans and because of buying up all this debt, the banks ended up with fewer loans on their books and more cash. So a central bank reaches out to a bank, it buys a bunch of their loans, and the bank has fewer loans and now has a bunch of cash. Those banks lent that money out to investors, hedge funds, the wealthy elite, the people in the know, and those people bought stocks. So what they did was they borrowed in euros, they sold the euros, and then they bought, for the most part, they bought dollars, and they bought other currencies, but they bought a lot of dollars so that they could buy, I almost said Yahoo. I don't know where that came from. Why would anybody be buying Yahoo right now? Is Yahoo even a company? I'll ask Siri later. But they got dollars, and then they bought Google, they bought Amazon, they bought Microsoft. They bought all those companies because it takes dollars to buy those companies. And then the financial system exploded, and what people did was they sold those stocks. You can see it all over the terminal. They sold off Google, Amazon, Microsoft. They sold off all those stocks. They got dollars for those, and they bought back euros. Because even though they were paying almost no interest on those loans, they were worried that the collateral for those loans, those stocks, weren't going to be worth enough. And if the value of those stocks dropped past the point of where they bought them, they would now have to pay back loans with extra money. So they bought back euros. The euro, in other words, became what is called a funding currency. It's the strangest thing ever. No one would have ever thought that to be the case. So even though Europe is essentially bankrupt, honestly, it's like an insane situation where Italy's bankrupt, Greece is bankrupt, Portugal is bankrupt, Spain is bankrupt. I don't know how any of those financial systems are going to, and French banks have loaned so much money out to Italy, it just boggles the mind. There's not enough money in the financial system to rescue those bad loans. They're just going to have to reset the system when it finally happens. It's crazy that what's happening, even though that's the case, is that euros are being purchased. You'd think, wow, weak economic bloc, Germany in recession, just about, but a strong currency? How can there be a strong currency in a weak economy? So what you're going to see is the Nikkei index is going to fall and the Japanese yen is going to rise. Doesn't make any sense at all. That's because loans are being paid back in Japan. The stock markets in Europe are going to fall, but the euro is going to rise. And it doesn't make any sense, but what's happening is people are paying back loans owed to banks in Europe before they have to pay back those loans with money they don't have anymore. And that's why stocks sell off and the euro goes up. That trend may continue. We're reaching levels of support here, and I now have 50 million drawings on my chart. So we are reaching levels of support possibly in the euro. I don't know yet. We're going to find out soon as the team, we bring our brains together again and release the next round of jump trades. We're going to find more out about that. But that's a dynamic that's happening under the surface of everything else going on in these financial markets. That's something that most people aren't paying attention to, and there is extraordinary opportunity available. I'm Rob Booker here for Wealth Press. Stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel here if you want more videos like this. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment below. We'll read those comments. Love you all. Have the best day ever. Be safe out there, everybody.